Hey everybody, welcome back to Into the Fire. Basically, this is part two on basically going to build up from part one, work our way. It'll probably be a 5-part series, depending on how long it takes and stuff. But it is, let me turn all the stuff off before it starts yapping at me. And what it's about is becoming a firefighter. The pluses, the minuses. Today is basically how to get a job as a firefighter. We're going to go over some key topics. We're going to miss a few that maybe I'll try to capture as we go, maybe on a different thing. But I got a couple notes here just to get me started. But it's a progression. So there's Gear Grinding 19. Thanks for showing up. Let me get all these cameras figured out. Or not cameras, but pages figured out. Basically this series is about how to get a job in the fire service or how to become a firefighter. They call me the fireman. That's my name. Big Glock Daddy. What's up? Gimp Geek, thanks for showing up. This stuff, guys, is all about fire. I'm doing a series on basically the beginning of how to get into the fire service and almost the ways of walking out of the fire service. So this may not be for you, but it's basically a series that I've been wanting to do. It's kind of up in the air on it, but I really think this is going to be helpful for the individuals out there that maybe are thinking about joining. Maybe they just need a little heads up that'll help persuade them to go fill out the paperwork, maybe take the classes. So in today's video, which is part two, but it's going to be how to get a job in the fire service. And I think a lot of this can relate to just about any, whether it's a large corporation, a police department. I think a lot of it is basically structured the same way. If you really want to get a job where you're looking to get into that maybe there's a lot of people that's competitive to get into, this may help as well. But we'll see. I'm on at 135. Thanks for showing up. I'll keep reading your guys' things. I know how to get in as a volunteer, LOL. Hey, that's one of the best ways to do it. But we'll get started here. How to get a job in the fire service. Basically, you got to think of one thing. First off, you got to think, do I really want to do this? Because it is a lot of work. It's very competitive. But in the end, it's very rewarding and very it's family oriented and so on. And you'll get a lot more information as we get through the series. But there's a lot of pluses to this. Are you going to see bad calls and blood and guts and stuff that you wish you didn't see and you can't erase from your mind? Yeah, you're going to see that. Are you going to see other stuff? But I'm getting off track. This is about getting a job in the fire service. Getting a job in the fire service. First things first, you got to commit. You got to say, you know what? Okay, I really want to be a firefighter. And that's hard for a lot of people because I hear that from literally hundreds of people in the last 26 years, that'll come by the fire station and bring their grant. I really wanted to be a firefighter. And it's like, well, then you should have done it. You should go out and do it. And there's a lot of people, there may be one or two out there that wish they did it, and now it's too late. Maybe they're too old. Is there really an age? It's going to depend on the department, but it's going to be, there's going to be an age where you're too old. If you're 195 years old and you're stuck in bed, then yeah. But if you're in good shape, and you can do the job, and you're whatever age requirements that they have that'll let you still get in the department, that'll be something you'll need to look into depending on where you live and all that kind of stuff. And is it worthwhile? If you're at an age where you feel like you're too late, but you really want to help the community and you want to go volunteer somewhere, I think that's honorable. That's huge to actually go out and want to help your community and become a better person, get to meet great people, feel like you're actually helping the community, and I think that's great. So now this is going to be more towards the younger generation that is maybe looking into the fire service. And I'm hoping that people that watch this are 14 years old, because there's Explorer programs out there from 14 to 21. You can be an explorer. You can learn a shit ton of stuff before you actually, while you're in school, while you go through high school and all that. And you're going to get a lot of information. And you're going to know. You may say, you know what? You started when you were 14. At 15 and a half, you said, man, I don't want to do this. This isn't what I want to do. Guess what? You didn't waste a whole lifetime going of college and classes and all that shit to decide that that wasn't for you. You basically got a free play per se, because you're only 15 and a half. You still have all those years of figuring out what you still want to do. But for the kids that are wired tight, they know what they wanted to do. Maybe their parents were in the fire service, their grandparents, and they knew ever since they were little, but that they really, really wanted to do it. Not that they were pushed into it, because that's a completely different story, and we'll get into that later. If that person really feels the need, has always felt it, it's in their blood. You know, maybe they're the 7th generation of firefighter. I mean, that's all they know. They've grown up in the fire station with their parents. You know, ran around, went to all the pancake breakfasts, spaghetti this and spaghetti that. Know all the firefighters as he grew up, and now he's to that point. He's known that. Being able to do that is the key to success when it comes into the fire service. Now, before I go any further, anybody that's just deciding to become a firefighter, maybe you're 20, 22, maybe you're 25, 35, and you just decided that you want to become a professional firefighter. Say you got tired of doing, job B, right? You don't want to do that anymore, and you want to do a complete career change. And I talked about it in the part 1. Basically, you gotta take the leap. You gotta jump. You gotta go for it. You gotta say, you know what, I'm gonna go for it. Maybe you're already married, right? Some of the things I'm going to talk about is when you are young and you figure out that you want to become a firefighter. I always tell the young guys that just get hired, do as many classes as you possibly can, take as many training opportunities, learn as much as you can, because someday you're going to want to get married, and your wife's going to want time, right? They're gonna want time away, and then later on you're gonna have kids, and then you're gonna have soccer practice, and all this shit's gonna come up, and you're not gonna have as much time to take classes. So try to get as much as you can done while you're young, before you're married, before you have kids. Now, if you already have kids and you're already married and you're planning on becoming a firefighter, there's a few more obstacles that you have to hurdle through. But here's the great thing about that. A lot of departments, Eric Thomas, a lot of departments also want the people with life experience. Now, not knocking the 18-year-old that's taken all the classes when he was an explorer. He's all the way through. He's got all his stuff. He's all dialed in, but he has no life experience. So they take that into consideration as well. Not all departments, but sometimes it's better to have an older, more mature guy that can handle certain items, certain things, understands the walk of life, understands the meaning of life per se. It's kind of a cheesy thing, but understands a little more about how the world spins than maybe an 18-year-old right off the street that's never had a job. So there's always those aspects. But I would say if you're young and you want to become a firefighter, tomorrow morning is the day you start. Tonight you start. You get on the computer and you go to your community college, depending on how old you are. If you're in high school, you're going to have to get your parents' approval and all that kind of stuff, depending on your age. But tell them that you're serious about wanting to become a firefighter. Look for those Explorer programs out there, and really get your mindset and your heart into it if you're going to do it. Now, you got to remember this. Every guy that you're going to compete against, test against, basically for maybe that one job, maybe 10 jobs. I remember taking a test in Orange County. I don't remember what year it was like 90 or something. We took it in some huge stadium. Like, there was firemen everywhere and all these desks, and you had a certain amount of time, and it had all this different mechanical skills and all that stuff. But there was thousands upon thousands of people, and it was like 5 days of testing, not per person. One day maybe you had date of Tuesday. You showed up on Tuesday. Another guy had a date of Wednesday. Another guy had a date of, but you understand what I'm saying? Thousands of people for, not too many jobs. So this job is going to be a pain in the ass. I thought firefighting is a job. I thought it was a way of life and lifestyle. Once you're in, my friend, gear grinding. It's awesome. So it's a very, very competitive thing. So I get back to the reasons why starting early, like 14 years old if possible. And I didn't. I started at 18 basically. Right out of high school, the day out of high school, I went and started my volunteer program. So the sooner the better. There's a lot of classes you're going to need. So if as soon as you can take an EMT class, your emergency medical technician class, go get it done. CPR card. Get all the little stuff out of the way that you can take at a community college. And not little stuff. It takes a while. There's some semesters there. Can't remember how long it is anymore. It was like 20-something years ago I did. But you got to go to college, take that class. If you have the ability, say you're still living at home, which hopefully some of these young guys are. Now a lot of older people are living at home as well because of the way the economy is. But get those classes done as soon as you can. Thanks for helping these young and six. Hey, no problem, Rick. I really felt like this was something that I needed to get out. I felt that, you have 26 years of knowledge, and I'm not saying I know everything. And if you ever hear me say I know everything, then, someone's taken over my life and you need to shoot me. I'm very humble when it comes to that. I know that I could learn a lot more, should know a lot more. I forgot a lot of stuff. You always hear the thing, oh, I forgot more than you'll ever know. And in some instances, I really think that to be halfway true when they were saying that, because I kind of feel like I feel that way now as well. People go, remember that call we went on and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I don't remember any of that shit. But getting back to it, getting a job in the fire service. Just remember, all good things take work, right? If you really, really want to be a firefighter, and don't just become a firefighter and a half-ass firefighter, just to say you are a firefighter, really try, especially in your career as a young man or woman, get your ass cracking. There's a lot of shit that needs to be done. Think of it this way. You're basically going into an organization, paramilitary. What does paramilitary mean? Basically, it's the military per se minus firearms, right? Yes, sir. No, sir. This, boots shine. I mean, all the same shit minus the guns. It's going to be hoses and ladders and that kind of stuff. But it's straight up like boot camp. And that's how it's supposed to be. That's how it's designed. It's you got kind of not more on the cop side of it, but a lot of yelling and this and that, basically trying to get you to understand all the stuff they have to squish in within the time frames of the academy. So there's a lot of shit going on. So if you're going to do it right. Don't half-ass it. If you're not fully in, don't show up and be the lump. You know what I mean? Either dive straight in and jump and do the best that you can, or don't do it, because you're going to get washed. And what I mean by that is you're going to be the guy that looks half-assed. You're going to be the guy that maybe doesn't shine his stuff, doesn't make his uniform look all good and pressed, and you're going to be the guy that they're never going to hire anyways. So it's going to be a waste of your time and a waste of theirs. Training classes are expensive, and if they put you through an academy or you go through an academy, it's money. It's things aren't free as much as the world wants us to believe it is. People think that they should get stuff for free. It's hard work, and it's going to cost people money, whether it's your parents, you, or the department. Somebody's paying for it. So give your all or don't do it. The things to think about too is the fire service has a lot of options, right? First, you got to get into the fire service and getting a job. Now, say you're in say you're in town. Say I'm a younger guy right now, and I didn't know anything about fire department, but I had an interest in it. I would go to the fire department. There's plenty around here. There's volunteer departments. There's paid departments. And I'd ask questions. What do you guys think of this? I would use this as a resource. I'd go to the computer, maybe learn stuff. And the best thing to do, it's kind of a joke, but you know how you always hear cops and donuts? Firemen love ice cream. So if you bring a couple half gallons of ice cream in and you want to sit and bullshit, make sure you call them first. Maybe try to set up something. Hey, my name's Rick. Really want to know how your organization works. I wanted to, stop by, say hi, maybe take a look at the equipment, that kind of stuff. More than likely, they're gonna be all over it. Let me go get some tissue. I got a cold, so my nose is running. Sorry about that. But entertain the idea of really getting out there and pushing yourself to get out there. And the reason why I say that is, as you go through your career, that's the reason why people have reserves in different departments. And the reason why most reserve programs, I can't say all of them, the ones that I know of, you need to have already gone through an academy. You need to already have gone through, basically your medical training, whether you're a medic or EMT or whatever the case is. But if you can become a reserve, right? Let me kind of skip forward. You become a reserve, you haven't got the job yet. Maybe you were a volunteer for a while, you got all the training, and now you want to get the job. The best thing to do, or one of the best things to do, besides getting classes and getting educated and maybe being a little bit better than the next guy that you're testing with, is, like Rick Thomas says, it's discipline. If you mess up, you can get people killed. It's a serious business. True. But trying to get back to the job, if you have the ability to become a reserve, a lot of departments hire and use that as their source of being able to hire people. So it's considered an in-house hire. So they don't have to fly. They don't have to fly the position, say, depending on what the department is. It's just an internal hire. They can take it. So say there's 10 reserves, and you want to do this tactfully, because I've seen a lot of people do it very badly and make themselves look bad. And you're always competing with the next guy. But within that, you still need to be a team player. You need to be, team oriented. You need to always help your brother out. Like say you're taking a test and you're basically going up against him, and you notice that maybe like his suspenders, he didn't put his suspenders on or something. Like going, hey, your suspenders or something. Help the guy out. You know what I mean? Really help the guy that's trying to compete against you, and that means a lot. And those instructors may see that. Now, the other end of it is, if you aren't out there and those supervisors aren't seeing you, right? Say Captain X, he keeps going, man, Rick's doing a good job. Every time I see him, he's always working, he's cleaning, he's checking the equipment out, he's always reading about something and the essentials. He's always learning something. He's not sitting around. And I think if you're on probation, that's going to be another topic that I'll do a different time. There's a lot of information in the probationary firefighter one, especially if you guys are interested. Hey, Rubio. But it's I got to do this one first, and it's about getting the job. And getting the job as a reserve, you'll have the ability to either shine and want the supervisors to pick you up, right? Say all of a sudden a guy gets sick, he got promoted, whatever the case is, there's an open position. Well, they're gonna have to fill that position unless, economically they can't because of budget restraints or whatever the case is. But for the most part, if there's a certain standard of, manpower on the equipment, whatever the case is, they're probably gonna have to fill that position. So if you're the lumpy guy that he's out screwing off when they're doing free time, he's not the person reading the books and doing the things and the extra checkouts and really trying to learn, you're not setting yourself up to get a job. You have to shine the entire time you're there, especially as a reserve, a new firefighter, a volunteer. If you want to progress and become a professional firefighter, and it sounds so stupid, the word professional firefighter versus volunteer. I really hate the terminology. I mean, understand it as one person's basically getting a check, if you want to think of it that way. But there's really no fine line between a good volunteer and a good professional firefighter as well. They all do the same job. So I give kudos to both of them, especially volunteers. A lot of times they're doing stuff. They're taking time away from their families to go, to training days, and they're helping with special events and that kind of stuff. So I really give kudos for that. Let me read the thing here. Thanks, Rick. He says, I hope I'm a trainer, brother. You shine. Appreciate that. I do on certain topics, but I'm trying to move forward. I'm trying to move on. I'm trying to get the younger generation to come in. I look young. I am young. I feel young for the most part. But the thing about knowledge is you don't hide it. Let everybody have it, especially in the fire service per se. Don't die with what you know and not share it. And I kind of believe in that when it comes to the fire department for sure. It's like you can know everything about, say, rope rescue, right? I use rope as my example because I really love doing rope stuff. But if you're not sharing your knowledge and giving people more power, right? Because I always say knowledge is power. You're doing yourself a discredit. You're not assisting the next generation to come in and continue where you left off to learn more shit and to even make it better. So I totally agree with giving it out. Let everybody have the same knowledge. Be transparent it's kind of the coin word of the 2010 and on. But be transparent. And the same with your knowledge. Give it out. Don't hide it. But see, now you got me all screwed up. I saw a shiny object, and now I'm lost where I was going to go. So the probationary firefighters, make sure, whether, like I said, volunteer, whether paid, whatever you want to call it, reserve, go in 100% or don't do it, because you are going to watch everybody in your reserve program get hired before you. You are going to, the best thing you can do, I think, is to team up with someone that you feel is as good or better than you. Don't go find the lumpy guy. Don't find that guy. Hey, Gadget Ninja One. Become a team of 2, maybe 3, and do nothing but study. Learn stuff, test each other, make each other want to learn more, because that's the only way to get the best drive out of it, is to push the guy. You're like, oh yeah, well, what do you and ask him a question, and he'll be like, oh, try to get to that point where you guys are trying to trump each other with knowledge, and then that is going to do nothing but help you out. And he's going to be the guy that backs you up. And in the fire service, it is what it is. I always say it's a brotherly team, family oriented. It's straight up family when, and things have changed a little bit over the years, depending on your department. I can't speak for every department, but just the way society is and the younger generation, things are a lot different than they were 26 years ago. But I think as the older generation helps to mature the newer generation and understand some of the old ways and the reasons why we did certain things, and to be an older person in the fire service, you really got to go, that new way is better. You got to be able to say, that is a better way of doing it, and not be, oh, well, for the last 100 years, I've done it this way. And that's the reason why, and blah, blah, blah. If you're old and crusty and you have no will to bend to the new futuristic this and that, you will die an old cranky, whatever your position is, firefighter, engineer, captain, chief, whatever. You got to be very progressive. You got to know that the younger kids are going to learn more shit than you did. There's better ways to learn now with online. I mean, it's like, what do you want to know? Type it in. Okay, the answer is this. So they have a lot more at their fingertips. They have the ability to learn a lot more. There's better textbooks out there with CDs and tests now and lots of stuff. Before we had to read like big old thick books on how to take tests. It's like, who the hell wants to read a big ass book? I despise reading a lot of stuff. I mean, I read books from occasion to occasion on a plane or whatever when I'm flying back and forth, but unless it's about guns and gear and something cool, it's not. I just don't want to read about it. Now, the fire service, that's the thing too, is you love your job, right? You really want to pursue your job as a firefighter. Then that's fun stuff to read. Some guy that's already been in the fire service for 20 years, 30 years isn't going to want to read that because he's either thought that he's already done it, he knows a better way, whatever the case is. So you got to fight the old time mentality as well. So what do we got here? We got Gadget Ninja. He says he wants to apply for the sheriff's department. And everything I'm saying, Gadget Ninja 1, a lot of this is, I'd say so far the shit I've said, all of it is relative to the sheriff's department. It's the same thing. It's a structured paramilitary organization. Yes, sir, no, sir, blah, 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 boots shine, all that stuff. So for this one, and probably the probationary firefighter is the same as a probationary officer. So it's the same as far as the Explorer program. They have the Explorer program for the sheriffs as well. So far, all the stuff I'm talking about would be applicable to you as well if you're interested in hanging around for the series. But there's a lot of stuff. So let's do a roll call. Who's out in the comment section? I know I got 11 watching. This is going to be more of something that somebody stumbles on because they want to become a firefighter. I'm hoping, and they'll be able to get some information from it. But it is a live chat, and I want to interact with you guys. Hey, V-Board. Seeing some of the stuff like Ninja One brought up is shoulder. Now you may have a medical condition. You may know that you physically can't do whatever job you're looking for. In my aspect, it is we're talking about firefighting. So let's say that you are unable to walk, right? I'm hoping that it doesn't sound bad, but you should know that you're probably not going to be able to do this job because we need to climb ladders and we need to do that kind of stuff. So your inability to walk, I gotta really hate to sound like this, but because people can do so much that can't walk, especially with all the new technology. But what I'm trying to say is I'm just basically trying to say that there is limitations to what people can and can't do. So let me go back out here. Some helpful hints to succeed in gullible, team player, and skills needed. I would say skills needed. If you are an athletic type of person, team oriented, maybe you've been on the basketball team in high school and soccer and all that other bullshit, you're used to being a team. Or there's some people, maybe you're more reserved. Maybe you're a person that likes to do stuff by himself. You're gonna have to overcome that. You're gonna have to work and play as a team-oriented person. If you can't get past that, you would really have to work on that prior to even thinking about coming in, because you're gonna look standoffish. You're gonna look like you think you're better than the others, which may not be the case. It's just going to be the perception of how basically the team, because you're not in it. Here's the team and here's you, because you're not in here as part of the team. You're gonna be outcasted. They're not gonna want to help you succeed. They're not gonna want to be your partner. So you definitely have to be team oriented as well. Tips to succeed. I put all these little notes down, and I'm like, what did I already say about that? So I'm trying to figure that out. I would say the tips to succeed, one of them would be get people to know who you are. You have to be a politician per se, especially when you're going for a job. If you've done all your stuff, you've gone through the academy, you've tested with the department, your ass should be at the fire station asking questions. Hey, this is Rick. I'd really like to meet the crew and maybe just spend some time with you guys for a little while. Do you have a date or a time that I could show up? Yeah, sure. Show up right after lunch on Tuesday. So make sure you show up. Don't be the flake that doesn't show up. If for some reason you can't show up, you better call. You show up, bring some ice cream. Like I said, everybody loves ice cream. And more than likely, the captain will talk to you, and then he'll kick you over to some of the firefighters. The reason why they do that is it's good training for the new firefighters, and it also is more than likely going to be your age group, so you'll be able to talk a little easier. Probably get a little more background on what you need to know, because he probably just went through the test, last year, maybe a year or so ago. Hey, trunk back, Jim. He's asking if we have crane tube and training for entrapments. Yeah, we have confined space, not our department, but where we go train, Ben Clark Training Center. They got all the grain feeders, a lot of confined space stuff. So yeah, that's cool. If not, check this out. I don't know if there's even something to check out. It didn't show up. It's probably a link to something cool. Damn it. Got sidetracked again. Dun, dun, dun. So where was I? I hate that. That's why I try not to read those too much. I should have just said, hey, truck back Jim, and kept going, because now I'm shiny object and I forgot what I was talking about. What was I talking about, guys? Dun, dun, dun. Oh, so going to the fire station. Get your ass over there, meet those guys. Okay. Going over there, meeting those guys, talking to them, trying to get as much information as possible. Say you're going, there was a gentleman in the first chat, something blonde, 65, and he's testing for LA County right now. LAFD, yeah. So LA City or LA County. So it's actually city. He is, there's a shit ton of stations to know about. It's like he should be doing tons of research right now going, okay, there's this many stations. This is who the fire chief is. This is the administrative staff. There's that many stations, that many hazmat units, that many ladder trucks, that many ambulances, and so on and so forth. If he's getting to the point where that person's going in for their interview, maybe they got an oral interview or a chief's interview, if you're not up on your stuff, if you don't know anything about the department, guess what? The next guy walking through the door is going to know it. You need to know all that shit. I don't care if it's 2 stations. If it's 2 stations, say you want to go work for a department that's 1 or 2 stations, you need to know the address of both stations, how many people they employ, who the fire chief is, depending on the organization, whether the battalion chiefs, if they have an assistant chief. You want to know the administrative staff. You want to know that they have a prevention unit, who's the fire marshal. You want to know anything and everything. Here's where the trick comes in. The reason why you go to the fire department and actually talk to those guys is because you want information that the other guy just got online. Okay, well, he may know the fire chief and he may know the 2 stations and the address and all that same shit you should know. But going to the fire station, talking to the firefighters, BSing, bullshitting, having fun, you're going to learn a few extra things. You're going to learn that, what's an example? You guys have they just purchased a brand new, Spartan, whatever, brand new piece of apparatus, and it should be here in 6 months, right? that may not be on the internet. That's going to be vital information that's going to say, that's going to throw a red flag up, and they're going to go, man, this guy's done his research, or gal, he's done his research, and he knows some shit that no one else knows. You know, he must have actually went to the fire station, talked to the people. I love when we're doing oral interviews and people are sitting there and then they give you the same spiel and the same spiel, and then all of a sudden you're sitting there writing notes down. You know, oh, this guy's doing good here, blah blah blah, whatever the case is. And then all of a sudden, as you're writing from the last question, and someone on the panel's already asked them the next question, it is like, you know, your ears like perk up, like, oh shit, like this guy's on it. And something to think about too. And I had one guy, his name was Kyle, and he was a reserve for us, and he was testing. He was either testing as a reserve. I think he was testing as a reserve. I can't remember now. And he had such talent of answering questions for oral interviews, right? All this stuff can be gained by your buddy. Hey, let's do fake oral interview questions. Hey, Rick, what do you think of the, you know, whatever question you want to ask? And then I sit there and I try to sit professional in a chair. There's a lot of tricks that they do. You know, they'll put you in a chair that rocks backwards and lots of things, and they're watching your feet, and they're doing all that kind of stuff. And they want to know how comfortable you are and how professional you are. You know, make sure that you give every one of them on the panel your resume. Right? If it's 10, if it's 2, be ready for that. Okay? If you're not going to go in 100%, like I'm saying, you're wasting your time and their time. So do it right or don't do it at all. So some of the other things of becoming a firefighter and getting the job may be that you need so back to the thing about the fire station and having had talked to the firefighters out there. Like I said, those are vital key information. The new apparatus that no one knows about that got ordered and it should be here in 3 months. Just all the insight that you can get. And then remember that there's more than one shift, right? If you're going to a paid department, there's probably 3 shifts, depending on what department you're going to. But try to go back again, talk to another individual team. And get that face of yours seen by as many people as possible. Maybe show up, just say hi. Don't bug the chief. Fire chief, as much as all the captains, battalion chiefs, and everybody wants to think that guy's in his office not doing shit. Well, guess what? Everybody thinks that of the guy above them. Everybody's working hard to get their shit done. But it's like, that guy's in the office. He's probably doing shit. So don't ever get that mentality. Think of everybody in a positive manner. They're working hard to get something done, even though maybe they are screwing off for that hour or whatever. But just think of it in the positive. You will not get anywhere in life being negative, or at least as fast. How's everyone? Hey, Greg Campbell, how are you doing, buddy? So there's a lot to be had, a lot to know, and the only way that you're going to know it is by studying, by taking classes, going and talking to the firefighters, and getting knowledge. You know, and you may say, hey, you know what? I just got out of Academy A, and you know, we throw the ladder like this. Is that something that you guys do? You know, oh no, you know, we hoist the ladder this way, fly in, and this is how we tie the halyard. You know, so even though the ladder got up the same, there's more than one way to skin a cat, as they say. But learn that department's way of doing stuff. If they throw a ladder and they do a clove hitch to tie off a halyard, then learn that way. If they tie, you know, it just depends. There's so much stuff to talk about. But learn their equipment. You know, they have Hondas. You know, their power units have Hondas. They're running Amkis tools. And you know what each tool does. Oh, this is 87,000 pounds of pressure spreading and this much squeezing, and you know, this ram will extend this amount, and it has the tool set with a 12-inch extension, and you can do this, and they carry this much cribbing, and you know, just there's so much shit on the fire truck that you can do. And so know what their equipment is. You know, you walk into the station, you gave them ice cream, you bullshit with everybody, and then basically you kind of get per se kicked out with one of the firefighters. Like, all right, move on. You know, captain's busy, basically. The engineer's probably busy. Or maybe he's not, and he's walking you around. But check out all the equipment. Check it out. Sit there with the firefighter. Hey, what do you think about this tool? You know, in the academy we use this, and it seemed like it was a piece of shit. Oh yeah, this one's a lot cooler. It's brand new, came out. Blah 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 blah. But it seems like, yeah, you're throwing me off, Gimp Geek, jackass. Now so learn what their tools are. Learn maybe some of the new techniques that are out there. You know, when you went through the academy, hopefully it was very soon, and now you're right out of the academy. You're really trying to push towards getting a job somewhere, which you should be doing. Don't wait. As soon as there's no power curve, it's get out of the academy, get your ass working. So test anywhere. Test everywhere. You say, you know what, I really like that one time I went on vacation. I'm going to go test in Colorado. I remember that one time I was over here, or that department over there looks really sweet. They just opened a new station. Maybe they're progressive and they're starting to build, and there's a lot of, you know, they're building another big community right there. Well, maybe they're going to be hiring. So go talk to those captains and the engineers and chiefs and get that face out there, you know. Some departments have interest cards. Maybe they're not hiring right away. Maybe they just hired. You missed the power curve. Maybe it was during when you're in the academy, right? So you wouldn't have been able to fill out the application because they require you to have your Firefighter 1 set. But now you can fill out an interest card, and your name's on the list. Maybe they'll send you some information. Yeah, you know, we're going to be testing next year at this time, or you know, you can go online, type in firefighter jobs. There's plenty of sites out there where departments give the information, they pay, and it gets placed on a web page, and you can go there. Some of them are membership, so you gotta you know, sign up, fill out for a membership. Some of them cost money, but you can find places that are hiring. You know, it may not be the state you want, may not be the county you want, but if you haven't been a firefighter, tough shit. Go drive, get it done. Go do that, and maybe test somewhere else when it comes available. Don't be static waiting for some magic department you're waiting for, because all you're doing is losing out on great opportunity of training, more classes, and hands-on experience. I mean, there's nothing better than saying, oh yeah, I remember last week I was on the structure fire and I did this, and a lot better than saying, oh yeah, I read that in a book one time. You know, nothing wrong with training and learning, but on the job is the way to go. So that's just how the ball bounces, or the cookie crumbles, as they say. Do you guys have any questions out in the chat while I wipe my nose? Remember, this series is set up where you don't have to watch my ugly mug. Especially today. I'm all sick, my eyes are red, I'm looking like shit. I don't really care, but it's more of a video that you guys can use as a resource. Maybe plug it in while you're mowing the lawn, you know, driving somewhere on a long road or whatever the case is, and just kind of, you can get some information while you're driving. No, you don't need to see anything. It's a video that doesn't need to be there. It's more of an audio. Think of it more as an audio cassette. And Gullible, I have Gullible down here. You are going to be tested in many ways, mentally and physically. Actually, that should be part of the probationary firefighter series. So getting a job, basically I talked about you doing the best that you can, teaming up with somebody to become better, maybe becoming a volunteer, getting your face out there. If you've gone through the academy already, things you're going to need. You're going to need your Firefighter 1. You're going to need an EMT card, or a paramedic card would be better. Definitely a paramedic license, I should say. You're going to want those first off. Go get them done. Go get it done. There's no way around it. You're going to need those two items. Along with that, there's going to be a lot of classes. Get as many done as, like I said, get them done quick while you're young, before you have kids, before you have a wife. I guess I'm recapping what we've gone over so far. Talked talk to the department that you may want to work for, get some insight, and yeah, we were talking about overhead welding and that kind of stuff. Weapons machinist is back in action. So there's many things that you can do, whether you are 14 or 35, and just go get it done. Don't wait 20 years later and go, man, I really wanted to be a firefighter, because you can, depending on your health and all that stuff, of course, and your age. I don't know how old you guys are. But this video series is definitely set up for the younger, just wanting to get in, you know, and it, I don't remember who it was now, but basically it can be used for sheriff's department or fire. It's all the same. It's all the same when it comes to this portion of it. Trying to get a job somewhere in the fire service. It's very, very competitive, but I will guarantee you that this will be the best job that you ever had. What kind of physical quals do you need? It all depends. I'll tell you what, they run some departments, larger departments, you do a biddle, and there's a lot of stuff involved, and you probably have to search for it. There's hoisting, lifting, running. You know, there's it's basically a track of stuff to try to break your ass off. And some of them are very hard. Some of them are very hard. Some are simple. It depends on the department. Depends how large the department is. And they weed out a lot of people. So you figure, say you have 100,000, well, that's a lot of people. Say you have 30,000 interested people, right? You keep making it harder and the bar higher, and you're going to get the best of the best. So it could be very stringent and physically and mentally tough to very simple. So I know that's kind of a shitty answer because it doesn't really answer the question, but it's more of a department related kind of thing. So it's going to depend on where you're talking about. But yeah, you need to be in shape, especially going in as a firefighter. I mean, as you get older, you'll see people that they gain a little weight. Like I got a little belly where before I didn't. But as you age, you know, your metabolism slows down. But I'm not in the position of being a firefighter anymore either, which probably has a reason why I have a belly. But you know, I'm more administrative than I am physical now. I'm still a deputy beast. They're not. I'm a battalion chief that does duty. I'm a duty chief, so I respond to the incidents with the equipment. But you know, as far as pulling hose and you know, a lot of stuff that a firefighter do, I don't do that stuff as much or hardly at all anymore. I'm more paperwork and you know, running the incident than you know, pulling and starting and cutting and that kind of stuff. So that happens. As we get older, we get a little rounder. Not everybody, though. Yeah, one of the guys that I work with, well, actually, both of the battalion chiefs that I work with, one's quite a bit older. I think, I don't remember how old he is, 56. He retired and now works for us, and man, he is amazingly freaking fit. And so is the other individual. He's like a cross trainer, not a cross trainer, what's that shit called? CrossFit, you know, and he competes in different places. I mean, they're both freaking badasses. Love working with those guys as well. So, but yeah, you know, be physically fit. And it's not about being big and strong. It helps. It's about technique. I mean, I'm a small dude. I'm 5'8". And when I was a fireman, I mean, I was younger, maybe a little more arms, you know, a little stronger maybe. But there's things where the big guys would have problems. It's all about technique. It's about training, doing it right. It's about practicing, being able to do it at 3 o'clock in the morning, you know, basically blindfolded where you can't see shit because there's no lights. So it's training. It's all about technique over bronze for sure. And that's the reason why I knock no woman that wants to become a firefighter. Now, is there better people per se? Yeah, I've met lots of women that can do the job and kick ass at it. And then I've met lots of women, I guess not lots. I shouldn't use the word lots. Sounds like a lot. I've met quite a few women that can kick ass and are really firefighters. And then I've met quite a few women that were, I call them ladies basically, because they're not physically or mentally fit, strong enough to do the job. You know, and people say, well, can you haul my 300-pound ass out of the fire? You know, they'll say that to some lady, you know, and you know what, with technique and maybe mechanical advantage, she can. You know, maybe she's a big ass, freaking physically fit chick, and you got nothing to worry about. Or maybe she's a little more, you know, small body framed, and she can do her job. I tell you what, it's all right here, and it's in your heart. Is where it is. Your buddy's down, and he's your brother or sister. Fuck, it could be a car on top of him. I can pick it up, get it out of the way. That's all it is. It's mind over matter. That's just how we roll. You got to have the ability to adapt and overcome. I tell you what, I do a series with the guys called Out of the Box, and they always bust me up because I do a lot of, like, well, mostly when I was a captain. I don't do it so much now because I let the captains do their own shit. But it's called Rick's Out of the Box drills, and I used to come up with some crazy shit to try to get these guys to go, how in the hell? I'm talking like making stuff that you would never make in the fire station, wouldn't even be useful in the fire station. You know, I may be like, I got a 5-gallon water bucket in the middle of this huge circle, and you're not allowed to go in the middle of the circle, but you need to put this 5 gallons of water in that bucket over there, a sparklets bottle, so it has a hole in it, you know. And they'll come up. I've seen so many different ways that that's done, but that brings a lot of camaraderie. That's another video I should probably do on Rick's Out of the Box drills. But man, I tell you what, you can get a group together. And the reason why I do this, and I'll give you a key hint, and I need to do a video on this. I take the brand new guy. My wife's trying to wave at me right now. Text me. I take the brand new guy, and I can't talk while my wife's talking. Oh, it's snowing outside, I think she said. Yeah, we're supposed to get a bunch of snow. Sorry about that. I take the brand new guy that's on probation, and I make him run that thing, like the 5-gallon water bucket. And what this does is, as a firefighter, a probationary firefighter, you're basically to eyes eyes open, ears open, mouth shut. And what that means is basically just watch, pay attention, don't talk, just learn, right? And it's funny because now I take this guy or gal and I put him into an environment where now he has to order the captain around, the engineer around, and the firefighters and the medic. And it makes them come out of their bubble. I don't do it like the first few months because that's just wrong. But sometimes I'll do that, and what it does is it shows possible hidden leadership skills. It shows the ability to say, well, I'm really not supposed to tell the captain to go grab the hose or whatever the case is, but I don't let any of the other guys talk. So any commands this new probationary guy has to do, and you can really learn a lot from somebody when they're put into situations like that, because there's ice coming out of the sky for real. It's supposed to snow good time tonight. Let me put cool real quick so I respond to my pretty wife. So it's probably very hard. Obviously, I've never had someone do that to me, but I always thought as a supervisor, it's always good to see someone have to come out, break out of a bubble of being the quiet guy that just does his work, puts his head down, cleans, checks stuff out, does his job, study, no TV, no this, no that. You know, as a probationary guy, there's a lot of stuff to make you either look good or look like shit. And that's going to be in the next series of Into the Fire. Let me check my time on how long we've been yapping. It is 54 minutes. So in 6 more minutes, I'm going to hang it up because I want to keep these at an hour so people can get good. Hopefully it's good information. Hopefully you guys like it. I know a lot of you guys out in the comments probably don't even want to be firefighters, but you're so cool just wanting to hang out with me. And I enjoy each and every one of you guys showing up. A woman 5'5" and had to be able to carry 150 pounds. Yeah, so there's requirements of drag. You know, you got to pull hose, you got to do all sorts of stuff, but a lot of it is mind over matter and technique. You know, if you're 6'5" and you can grab a hose and you're a big old ass dude, I mean, stuff's going to be easier for you. Don't get me wrong. You're going to be able to pick up a ladder a lot easier, you know, or a smaller person, maybe that lady that I'm on it, 135 is talking about, and she's going to really have to use everything she's got with lots of practice and technique to make that ladder go up and look good doing it. So, but it can be done. I've seen it done. It is doable. I've done it. So there's no problem with that was my job, Rick. Oh, okay. So I'm trying to figure out what he's talking about. So there's a lot of stuff that I think if you guys are interested in, maybe you got a nephew or a niece that's looking into the fire service. Maybe you are as well. Maybe you're just showing up for the first time. You've never even heard of Isyour6covered. And for a lot of you guys out there that I know PG's out here and Greg Campbell, I said his name already. But you may not even be interested in fire department, but it could be something that maybe someone is interested in. So you can use that. Now, my channel is basically about guns, gear, prepping, and that kind of stuff. And the reason why prepping's in there is because as a fire person, I'm teaching people and trying to get them prepared for earthquakes and, you know, major disaster, this and flooding and all that other stuff. And you can't do that if you're not a prepper. Now, you can think of, depending on what your mindset is, what a prepper is, you know, a wild and kooky dude. But after you listen to me for an hour, do I sound like a wild and kooky dude? No. I enjoy being prepared for anything. I mean, why not? Do you have a fire extinguisher at home, and so on and so forth? Well, it's just something that may happen. If not, it's just sitting on the wall, and it's good. I didn't have to use it. So with that said, you guys are awesome. Hey, the saint always shows up right at the end. I pee on the campfire before hitting the tent for the night. Good job, man. Good job. Unless there's a lot of wild animals out there. You guys, I appreciate it. I'm going to do more of these. Next one's going to be part 3, and it's going to be probationary firefighter. And we're just going to work our way up, and then we're going to have some open discussion ones at the end. But being a probationary firefighter is going to take some time to go over. It may even be a 2-part series because there is a lot of stuff that you can sink or swim if you don't do it correctly, or at least perceive or make yourself look like you're floating above water when you're really drowning. And there's a lot of things that will impact you, and you won't even know it. You know, the fire department is very. It's what's the saying? It's a telephone. How's it go? Basically, there's a lot of shit gets out before you even know it. You're like, as a battalion chief, I'm like, I just get through a meeting, so the fire chief says, okay, you know, we're gonna do this part, and we're gonna do this now. And by the time I walk out of the office with just finding out we're gonna do this, it's already spread throughout the station. So it's like tell a friend, tell a firefighter, telephone, or some shit like that. But it's yeah, so shit spreads fast. So if you're the lop, the shitty lump that isn't gonna work out, you know, you're not gonna cut the mustard. You know, you don't want to be that guy. So hopefully this video series helps you out. But with that said, if you're not gonna take this with 100%, you're wasting your time watching this video because it's not going to do anything for you. You're not going to be the guy they hire first. And if they do hire you, they're going to find out shortly why there's a thing called probation, and they're going to get rid of you. So you need to sell yourself as a professional and act as that. So So I want to say goodnight to you guys. Weapon Machinist 6 could be a great driver's ed instructor. Drive Shaft Drew, what's up, buddy? Gear Grinding 19, The Saint. Keep missing Rick tonight. I might do another one tonight. I might do part 3 tonight. When's part 3? I'm not 100% sure, but I don't know if I'll do it tonight or not. I don't even know if there's another chat on. If there is, I'm sorry. I'm doing my own little series on how to be a firefighter, trying to help people out. Let's see here. Gimp Geek, Fuzzy to you. Hello. Greg Campbell, Weapons Machinist, Saint. PG, or how do we say this wrong? Partisan Gorilla. I think that's right. Sorry if I did. I'm on at 135. I think I got most of you guys. A V-board 001. Gimp Geek, I said. Ace Outlaw. How you doing? Rick Thomas. Trunkback Jim. Gadget Ninja 1. Rubio 556. And I think I got everybody. If I didn't get you, I'm very sorry. I think I got everyone, though. I think I made it all the way to the top. Oh, big Glock Daddy. I don't know if he's still there, but these were the comments from earlier. And that's it. So I got everybody that commented. Maybe they're not that watched. There's 19 watching now. But tell me what you guys think. It looks like you guys are interested. I see Wins Part 3 coming out. And that, I don't know for sure. Maybe tonight. No, it's already 11. Nope. It'll be a different day. It's going to be snowing the next few days, so I'll probably have some time to jump in. It may be during the day. It may be at night, whenever I get some free time. But definitely check it out. There's a few of you guys, not very many, so that's cool, that haven't subscribed to my channel yet. So if you guys are interested, if you want to learn about stuff like this, whether it's firefighting, this could be used in the corporate as well, per se. Maybe not learning about fire stations and stuff, but trying to get a job that maybe is a professional career job that you really want, this could definitely help. But as far as probationary firefighter, I think you're going to learn the most out of this series with that one. And we're going to do that one, and then the one after, it's probably going to be promoting. Yeah, probation. So we got a probationary firefighter, probably do promoting within the fire service as well. And that's about it. You guys, when did he say part 3 is? It's not going to be tonight, Gear Granted. It's time to hang out with my pretty wife and go check out the snow hitting the ground. So you guys, again, I do appreciate it so very much. Hey, Truth Freeze is here. And it'd be great if you can cover some first aid emergency care. I can do that, but I won't do that on this series because this series is about becoming a firefighter. But with that said, you guys are awesome, and I really do appreciate you guys coming in. I'll say hello to you guys. In case you're not a subscriber, you can click that Isyour6covered thing on the comment section. And I'm looking for subs, but I want good subs that watch my videos. I'm not really looking for sub count per se. I want good comments, good feedback, and a lot of you guys out there do that for me, so I really appreciate it. But you guys have a good one. I'm trying to keep it at an hour, and right now I'm at an hour and 3 minutes, so that's 3 minutes longer than I should have talked. So peace out. You guys have a great night, and remember, Isyour6covered. And you know what? Show someone this video if they're interested in fire department. All right? Take care.